Hello, this is Pastor James Hargrave with Greatest Love Ministries. Welcome back. Today I thought I'd better put out, it's early in the morning, but I better put out a red alert for Memorial Day. I'm going to walk through the scriptures and tell you why I'm putting out a red alert for Memorial Day. We're going to start off in Matthew 24, verse 15. So when you see standing in the holy place the abomination that causes desolation spoken of through the prophet Daniel, let the reader understand. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let no one on the housetop go down to take anything out of the house. Let no one in the field go back to get their cloak. For then, verse 21, for then there will be great distress, unequaled from the beginning of the world until now, and never to be equal again. Now, Jesus is referring back to Daniel, and you have to understand Daniel. If you look at Daniel chapter 12, it predicts the year 2018, which is the 2625th year of the abomination of desolation. Then from that date, 2018, it's another 7 years. Time times and time times and half a time, and you have to double that. Also in Daniel 9 and Daniel 11, it references the American embassy in Jerusalem. Donald Trump moved the American embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem May 14, 2018. So that was marking the end of the 70-year period. You get that also in Daniel 12, that 70-year period. But when you get to the year 2018, the end of the 70-year period. What's interesting here, that was 2018 when the abomination of desolation was set up by Donald Trump, the 70th year. Now, if you look at Daniel 9, it talks about, well, let's look at it. Let's go to Daniel 9 here. 77s are decreed for your people and your holy city to finish transgression, to put an end to sin, to atone for wickedness, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy place or the most holy one. 77. So that was up in 2018, and it's marking kind of the end of Israel because after 2018, you entered the 7-year tribulation period. You entered the 7-year period of the Antichrist, which is Donald Trump, the beast that was. He was in office. He's out of office, back in office. The beast that was, is not, and yet will be. Donald Trump says the last 7 years of the tribulations what we're in. Now, let's go back to Matthew 24. And so when you see standing in the holy place, the abomination that causes us, like that was 2018, and you're thinking. So, but the text here says immediately, like don't even go back into your house to get your jacket. Just flee immediately when you see this. There's a urgency of destruction coming when you see this. But that didn't happen in 2018. Now let's look at Daniel 11. We looked at this, I guess, scroll down here a little bit. Then will come like a flood. Okay, well, let's back it a little bit. The people, the ruler who will come, that's Donald Trump, will destroy the city and the sanctuary. I believe that's Washington, D.C. And then the end will come like a flood. War will continue until the end, and desolations have been decreed. He will confirm a covenant with many for 7 year period. In the middle of the seven, he will put it in a sacrifice and offering. And at the temple, he will set up an abomination that causes desolation. Here it is in Daniel 9, what we're just reading in Matthew 24. Until the end is decreed, is poured out on him. So it's a marker. Now, this 7 year covenant. So it's almost like God in Matthew here 24, Jesus, oh man, um, it's like there's like a 7 year delay um, because of this covenant period of 7 years. So what I'm thinking is this is an anniversary the scriptures is talking about for when the abomination of desolation was set up. Exactly 7 years later, we see that here in Daniel chapter 9. And if it's marking it from May 14, 2018, that was, let me show you on the Hebrew calendar, May 14, 2018, with the 29th of Iyyar, 5778. And then the 7 years later on the Hebrew calendar, 29th of Iyyar, 5785 is May 26th after sunset because the Hebrew day starts after sunset. So this is a potential end marking of the 7 years covenant, the setting up of the embassy, the abomination of desolation that Jesus is pointing out here in Matthew 24. Another thing, though, I should mention in Daniel chapter 11, Daniel chapter 9, in the middle of the seven, he'll put it in a sacrifice and offering. What is that referring? That was referring to, well, in the very middle of the seven, 1260 days into this period, 3.5 years. Vladimir Putin did his speech about Ukraine, um, and that was February 21st, 2022. And it was a few days later that the United States put all these sanctions on Russia, confiscated their gold. I mean, weaponized the dollar. This was another blow to the dollar. Where this was not in our best interest to do these sanctions against Russia. It's hurting us more than us. It's causing this flight from the dollar. I mean, it's creating the need in their mind for the BRIC nations to have a defense against the weaponization of the dollar. So that's what this is referring about, the weaponization of the dollar in February 2022 in the middle of the seven. And you count that down exactly to the middle of the seven. That's February 21st, 2022. And you got another then 1,260 days. From that point, there, 3.5 years, you get August 3rd or the 9th of Ab, 2025. Let's look at that again here in Matthew 24. So if this is a marker, he's saying Memorial Day, the anniversary, the 7 year anniversary, flee. And also what's interesting, let's go down here further. The lesson of the fig tree, verse 32. Now we learned this lesson from the fig tree. As soon as its twigs get tender and its leaves come out, you know that summer is near. Even so, when you see all these things happening, you know that it's near, right at the door. That could be a hint. It looks like it's a hint that it's summertime. Well, Memorial Day is the unofficial start of summer. May 26th will be the unofficial start of summer. So here's a reference Jesus is also making to summer and potentially May 26th. And then another thing I want to show you here in Matthew 24. Oh, this is Daniel 11. At the time of the end, the king of the south will engage him in battle. It's talking here about the king that exalts himself, Donald Trump. It's talking about him and his narcissism, his blasphemy. He was looking at himself as superior. And at the time of the end, the king of the south, which is Persia, Iran, will engage him in battle. How is Iran, which is a BRIC nation, going to engage Donald Trump in battle? It looks like it's going to be through the destruction of Washington, D.C. It could be, it might be another way. Maybe that destruction of Washington, D.C. might not happen until July 4th, another prophetic date, or it could happen Memorial Day. But anyway, it looks like war is getting started Memorial Day. And I should also mention here quickly MAGOG. In Ezekiel 38 and 39, you have Donald Trump referred to as God, G-O-G, from the land of Magog. Magog. Magog is America, and it's a phonetic play on words or sounds. Magog or MAGA, Make America Great Again, and Magog are very phonetically connected. So it makes sense that the Bible would refer to the nation of America under Trump as MAGOG, Make America Great Again. And Donald Trump referred to as God. So it looks like this is going to be an attack on the United States, potentially Washington, D.C., by Iran with the help of Donald Trump, with his permission. And then Donald Trump's going to launch war in the Middle East. It's going to turn into war against Israel. And then that's going to turn into thermonuclear war on August 3rd, roughly August 3rd. So it looks like Memorial Day is the day. So I'm doing a red alert for Memorial Day because it says when you see that symbolism or that sign or that foreshadowing of the American embassy, flee, get out of Jerusalem. So where will this attack be? Will be in Washington D.C., will be Jerusalem, all the above. Anyway, wars coming to Israel through Donald Trump and Iran. And also, what's interesting too, now that we just had the change in the papacy, Pope Leo the 14th is being inaugurated on Sunday, May 18th, which is about 8 days from Memorial Day. And according to the prophecy of the popes, the city of Seven Hills is destroyed after the official land of Pope Francis. And the official land of Pope Francis will be when the new pope, his replacement, is inaugurated. That's about 1 week from Memorial Day. So there's a lot of evidence pointing here that the beginning of summer, the anniversary, the 7-year anniversary of the abomination of desolation, which is the American embassy, everything's coming together. Thank you.